Welcome back to our wonderful channel, dear friends. Today is a beautiful Wednesday. The sun is shining so brightly, and we are absolutely thrilled to have you join us for another heartfelt chat. Grab a warm cup of coffee or sweet tea, settle into your favorite cozy chair, and let us dive right into the latest drama unfolding in our beloved town of Port Charles. Oh my goodness, ladies, let me tell you, watching General Hospital this week has just tugged right at my deepest heartstrings, especially when it comes to our dear Britt Westbourne. I have been watching this show for what feels like an absolute lifetime, and there is just something about Britt that always makes me want to reach through the television screen and give her a giant, comforting hug, even when she is acting as prickly as a porcupine. Seeing her back in Port Charles should be a joyous occasion, a real homecoming filled with warm embraces and happy tears, but bless her heart, she is struggling in a way that just makes my soul ache for her. It is a mighty tough row to hoe, when you have spent years preparing for the very end of your life, only to suddenly get a miraculous second chance that you never saw coming. Let us just sit back for a moment and really think about what Britt has been through over these past few years. Imagine carrying the heavy, dark, suffocating cloud of a Huntington's disease diagnosis hanging over your head every single day of your life. She spent so much precious time making peace with the terrifying fact that her time on this beautiful earth was going to be cut tragically short. Because she was so scared, she built massive walls around her heart, thicker than a brick house, pushing good folks away so they would not have to watch her suffer and decline. She did some terrible, hurtful things out of pure fear and desperation, just trying to control the uncontrollable and protect her own fragile heart from the pain of saying goodbye. Then, by some absolute miracle from above, she gets the stunning news that she does not have the dreaded disease after all. Now, you would naturally think she would be jumping for absolute joy, singing from the highest rooftops, and embracing every single moment of her new life with wide open arms. But life is rarely that simple or neat, is it? Instead of feeling free and light as a feather, Britt is completely lost in the woods. When you spend years bracing for a terrible storm, and then the sky suddenly clears up, you almost do not know how to walk in the warm sunshine anymore. That is exactly where our Britt is standing right now. She is back in Port Charles, the only place she has ever truly considered her home, but she is wandering around like a lost little lamb, desperately looking for her flock. And how does our girl handle all these overwhelming, messy, complicated emotions? Well, she reverts right back to her oldest, most familiar ways. The infamous Britt is back in full force, ladies and gentlemen. It is her most reliable defense mechanism, the shield she picks up whenever the world gets too scary. When Britt feels vulnerable, terrified, or entirely out of place, she puts on that tough, mean girl armor and comes out swinging like a heavyweight boxing champion. We saw this clear as day in the July 14th episode, and it was such a hard pill for me to swallow. She is spiraling downward, just entirely falling apart at the seams, because she is so desperately hungry to feel anchored to something, anything at all, in a world that suddenly feels completely foreign and overwhelming to her. The whole messy situation started over at Bobby's place. Now, we all know how much deep history and genuine love is packed into those familiar walls. For Britt, getting her old room back was not just about having a quiet place to lay her head at night. It was about reclaiming her sacred space in the world. It was supposed to be her safe haven, her little slice of comfort and belonging. But when she found out she could not get into the room, all that pent-up anxiety, fear, and lingering trauma just exploded out of her like a pressure cooker left on the stove too long. Poor Lucas, sweet and patient Lucas, just happened to be standing right in the direct line of her fiery wrath. Britt just tore into Lucas like a wildcat, bitterly accusing him of setting her up and intentionally trying to keep her out of the home she so desperately wanted. You could just see the deep hurt and absolute confusion washing over Lucas's face. They had been working so hard on building a real, genuine friendship, and in the blink of an eye, Britt took a heavy sledgehammer right to it. It just broke my heart into a million pieces to watch, because I know deep down in my bones, and I know you know too, that she did not mean a single one of those awful, cutting things she said. She was just lashing out blindly because she felt utterly rejected by the very place she thought would welcome her with open arms. It is exactly like a wounded animal snapping aggressively at the gentle hand that is only trying to feed and comfort it. But hold on to your hats, my friends, because the storm was only just brewing and the real fireworks were about to start. The situation escalated to a whole new level when Britt discovered exactly why she could not get into her beloved room. It turns out her sacred, safe space had been rented out to the newest guy in town, Dr. Tristan Roberts. Oh, Tristan. He is this incredibly handsome, promising new surgeon who just arrived in Port Charles, looking sharp and completely unaware of the raging tornado that was about to hit him square in the jaw. When Britt realized this handsome stranger had taken over her room, she lost whatever tiny, fragile shred of composure she had left holding her together. She went after poor Tristan with everything she had in her, throwing wild insults and raising a massive ruckus that could probably be heard all the way down at the busy docks. She made a truly terrible first impression, and Tristan, bless his heart, was probably standing there wondering what on earth he had just walked into. But if we take a step back and look past the loud yelling and the fiery temper, what we are really seeing is a deeply broken woman who is terrified that there is simply no room left for her in this town anymore. If her physical room is gone, taken by this shiny new doctor, what does that mean for her entire life? Has Port Charles completely moved on without her? That is the deep, dark fear driving the Britt to act like a bull in a china shop right now. Thank goodness for Isaiah stepping in right when things were about to boil over completely and cause a permanent disaster. Isaiah is such a calm, steady, and grounding presence, much like a strong lighthouse guiding a battered ship through a rocky, dangerous storm. He stepped right into the middle of that chaotic, loud mess and miraculously managed to talk Britt down off the dangerous ledge she was standing on. He did not yell back at her. He did not judge her for her outburst. And most importantly, he made her see the cold, hard, undeniable truth. Tristan had absolutely nothing to do with her losing that room. The poor man just rented a space that happened to be available. Isaiah gently but firmly forced Britt to look in the mirror and realize she was taking her immense pain out on a completely innocent bystander. What I absolutely loved and admired about this specific moment with Isaiah is exactly how he handled Britt's incredibly fragile ego. He did not just scold her like a naughty child and walk away in a huff. No, he offered her a beautiful lifeline, a meaningful way to feel valuable, respected, and needed again. Isaiah looked her right in the eye with such sincerity and told her how much he was looking forward to her delivering Portia's baby. Now, we all know Portia is going through a terrible, stressful time, what with that awful emotional confrontation with Jordan that is soon going to send her straight into premature labor. It is going to be a high-stakes, terrifying medical emergency that requires the absolute best care. For Isaiah to tell Britt that he trusts her completely with such a critical, delicate, and life-altering situation that is just everything she needed to hear. He did not care one bit about the silly room drama, the loud yelling, or her messy, complicated personal life. He looked at her and saw a brilliant, highly capable, and extraordinary doctor. He validated her professional worth in a moment when she felt entirely worthless. For a woman who feels like she has completely lost her place in the world, having a highly respected colleague tell you that they desperately need your unique skills and your medical expertise is exactly like handing a drowning person a sturdy life raft. It was a massive, heartfelt compliment, and you could just see the gears turning in Britt's head as she slowly absorbed the weight of his kind words. So, let us all keep our fingers tightly crossed and our hopeful hearts wide open for Britt Westbourne. She has a very long, bumpy, and unpredictable road ahead of her. But if there is one thing we know for sure about this incredible, resilient woman, it is that she is a fierce survivor. She will stumble, she will make silly mistakes, and she will probably yell at a few more innocent people along the way, but she will eventually find her way back to the warm light. Thank you so much for letting me share my deepest thoughts and feelings with you today, my wonderful friends. It is always such a pure joy to talk about the beautiful stories and complex characters we love so dearly. Until next time, take wonderful care of yourselves, count your blessings, and always hold your loved ones close.